we're ready now.
You were good to go, Christian.
Alrighty. Hey there, true believers, and welcome to episode 6 of the Marvel Mondays initiative here on the Penultimate Conquest. Today's topic is, of course, our discussion of episode 6 of the show formerly known as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, titled One World, One People. But before we get into our discussion, we've got a little housekeeping for you. If you're watching on YouTube, consider dropping a like and a sub. And don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications for all our shows, like our video game show, the Penultimate Conquest podcast, our TV and movies podcast, the Cross Media Show, and our anime show, Anime Nation. We've got a few stream and podcast housekeeping for you today as well. Our community solo streams continue tonight with Tessa taking on some more Bloodborne at 9 p.m. Central and 10 Eastern. Ruben will, of course, be sprinkling in some Near Replicant this week as well. And tomorrow, Tuesday, April 27th, is trailer talk galore on the Cross Media Show. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christian Macias, your director and your host for the evening today. And alongside me today is the friendly neighborhood co-host of all things Marvel and Destiny, the daddy-to-be, Eric Ginn. Hello, good sir. How are you? Long time.
Yeah, it's been a sec since we've been on the show together. How are you?
I'm doing well. I missed you.
I've
Great
missed you
episode
as well.
last week, by the way.
Thank you very much. Your hair is looking especially bright and, happy today. I just want you to know that. But
Thank you,
no,
Eric.
it's good. Happy you're back.
You're not allowed to drink from that mug. Audio listeners, he's drinking from a Batman mug on a Marvel show, and I don't know how to feel about that. But enough about, thank you for covering it up. Rounding out our guests for today, the team for today, she is the Louisiana Loki Stan, the Bloodborne Queen herself, and returning guest, Tess again. Hello.
Hello. I don't know, Bloodborne Queen might be a little bit preemptive.
Listen, when you have Timur himself stop by your stream, you're allowed to be the Bloodborne Queen.
Yeah.
What was that, Eric? 1 HP in a dream?
1 HP in a dream, dear.
Words to live by. Words to live by. And our final guest, he is 1/4 of the anime podcast host, Baka & Co. The dude with the coolest custom neon sign that I know, Mr. Frank Furter. How you doing, good sir?
Well, hello. I'm doing well. I'm rushed to get home, rushed to help prep dinner, and now I'm rushing my first beer of the night. So, we're having a good night.
It's time to relax, talk a little bit of Marvel, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
hang out for a few minutes,
We're gonna just chill. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have some fun. Also, I do have a new addition to the sign. I don't know, somewhere over here. I don't know. Is Chester the cheetah? So
Oh my god. That's
yeah,
amazing.
I got a little Chester the cheetah just hanging out there in the two T's. You can see his little legs dangling right there.
I love it.
So
Audio listeners, check out the VOD, please. It looks so cool. So I've got some icebreaker questions here. We're gonna do something a little bit different today because Frank, you're returning. Tessa, you've been on I think the Marvel show before, not this new iteration. But I wanted to switch it up, give it a little bit of freshness. So we're gonna go around, and Eric, you're included as well. What is everyone's favorite Marvel moment? Not MCU related, but Marvel moment. Let's start with our good buddy Eric.
Ooh, favorite Marvel moment. I have to go with, I know, Cameron, if you're watching, you're especially gonna like this one. The scene that Aunt May has with Peter in Spider-Man 2. Like, this is right after Peter gave up being Spider-Man, and everyone's asking him, "Hey, where's Spider-Man at?" Well, he took a break. He's done, and the kid's really sad. And Aunt May gave him like the courageous words where it's like she knows a hero when she sees one, and people need Spider-Man. And so I always tear up whenever I hear that. It's probably my favorite Marvel moment.
I love that. That's a good choice. Tessa, how about yourself?
Mine is also Spider-Man related. In Homecoming, when he lifts up all the rubble off of himself, like that one moment was so good to me. It was so perfect. It just captured what Spider-Man is. But yeah.
I get chills during that scene. I don't know about you guys.
I cry during that scene.
Yeah. And lastly, Frank, how about yourself?
Favorite Marvel moment? So my favorite and least favorite are probably Spider-Man. I mean, can you have a whole movie be your favorite moment? Because Into the
Sure.
Spider-Verse, just the whole fucking movie is just a blast from beginning to end.
Hmm.
Like the whole thing is a moment, and I love it. Least favorite moment also happens to be Spider-Man in the Andrew Garfield effect, in which it's when shit. Why it's not? Is it Mary? No, it's not Mary Jane in that one. Is it?
Gwen Stacy?
Gwen Stacy, that's right. It's when they make the noise of when her neck just hits the
Oh,
ground, and it's just like, "Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that so much."
I
It's my
love that
least
scene though.
favorite. I hate it. I
It
hate it.
made
Just
it
the
hit so much
sound
more
effect.
though.
The sound effect just made it that much worse. But, no, I think, Into the Spider-Verse is definitely just a huge. I love cartoons, I love animation, and just, like, everything about that movie I absolutely love. Um, and, like, the MCU, it's a really difficult, like, decision because, like, I mean, the cathartic beheading of Thanos is fantastic. I love that in, Endgame. I love everything about. I really loved the Black Panther movie, that was great, and then everything about the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, like, there's so
Mhm.
many little tidbit moments in that movie that I absolutely just it'd be hard to pick one.
Maybe we need to do like a top 10 Marvel moments episode because
Oh
there's so
boy.
many to choose from.
Oh
Hmm.
boy.
And
But
my
yeah.
other icebreaker question here for the gang is some quick fire questions. So I have 4 categories here. One of you is going to choose one category and we'll go around. It's like a minute long each. It won't be too long. So, Eric, we're going to start with you. Choose your category between this or that. Pick a hero, pick a villain, or good or bad.
Pick a villain.
Okay, 60 seconds on the clock. Loki or Zemo?
Loki.
Vulture or Mysterio?
Mysterio.
Ronan the Accuser or Ego?
Uh, Ego.
Ultron or Dormammu?
Ultron.
Hela or Jan Rog, aka Jude Law?
Uh, Hella, because Jude Law character was bad.
Thanos or Galactus?
Thanos.
Yeah, easy. Good job, buddy. Tessa, pick a category between this or that. Pick a hero or good or bad.
Um, this or that.
This or that. Okay. X-Men or Avengers?
Avenger.
Infinity War or Endgame?
In game.
Tony Stark or Steve Rogers?
Steve Rogers.
Chadwick Boseman or Michael B. Jordan?
Chadwick Boseman.
Miss Marvel or She-Hulk?
Miss Marvel.
Moon Knight or Shang-Chi?
Moon Knight.
Solid. I loved it. Frank, now it's you with pick a hero or good or bad.
God, I feel like that last category was pick a hero. Fuck it. Let's do it. Pick a hero, and I'm gonna
Okay,
hate myself.
let's go. Sam or Bucky?
Fuck me. We'll go Sam.
Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch?
Doctor Strange.
Captain Marvel or Thor?
Captain Marvel.
Spider-Man or Ant-Man?
Spider-Man.
Hawkeye or Black Widow?
Black Widow. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna go there.
Rocket or Groot?
Rocket.
Whoa, I was not expecting that. I thought Groot would be the favorite there for sure. Awesome. I hope you guys
Yeah.
enjoyed the icebreaker section,
That
the
was
quick fire.
that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. But to back up the rocket to Groot, Groot is just like, yeah, he just says I am Groot and he has a few like tidbits of just like facial animations and everything else, but it's just like it's kind of not necessarily a stale character, but like Rocket definitely has a lot more to bring to the table than I feel like Groot does.
But also, Groot is cute.
True. And he
Let
did
us
have the
not forget.
touching moment. He did have the touching moment at the beginning of or at the end of the first movie, but Rocket overall, yeah. Plus I love the Rocket comics, so
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to get into a little bit of Marvel news before we get into our discussions to get us in the Marvel mood. Today is, of course, the 2-year anniversary of Avengers Endgame. So thank you, Russo brothers, for defeating cinema. And I wanted to ask what everyone's really quick, what everyone's favorite moment from Endgame was. Eric?
Portals scene.
Portals. Tessa?
Mhm.
Good lord. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that. If
We can go
I
to.
had to
Mhm.
pick, I would probably say whenever Steve sees Peggy and he's not expecting it.
What a great moment. And Frank?
When Cap says for the last time, Avengers assemble.
Oh, no one said when Steve
So
picks up
good.
the hammer, huh?
Oh, fuck, I
I'll,
always
I'll
forget
take
about
it. I'll
that. I
take
always
it.
forget about that.
I
It's
was
so good.
very close to saying the on your left, but
Well, yeah, pretty much like all of ours is basically Steve related. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That Steve Rogers guy. What a cool guy, huh?
what a neat person.
Some more Marvel news that came out this week. Captain America 4 is officially in the works with Malcolm Spellman and Dallin Moosin set to write the script with, of course, as we'll get into it, the new Captain America. Very excited. And then I added this link as well. The Falcon and Winter Soldier finale for episode 6 was originally like down in the 50s. It's since gone up to 64%. And I think that leads us into a great segue, which is if you can give me your review of the episode in 60 seconds, what would it be? Eric.
um, it was a solid ending for Sam. Bucky really underutilized. Um, WandaVision had a better finale.
Oh, fighting words. Okay. Tessa, how about yourself?
sort of along the same lines, I suppose. Great character payoff for Sam. For a show that has two characters in the title, the focus heavily shifts to one and only one, and you get a really weak payoff for the other as a result. And a really emotional conversation that should have happened didn't really happen. So there's not a lot of payoff for one of the characters.
Sure. Okay. And Frank.
Um, a tad bit rushed, still well done. Really weird last scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The post credits or before that?
No, no, no. Before that, like they I feel like if they had ended it at the museum, it would have been great. And then they're like, "Let's have a barbecue."
First of all, I think that was a crab boil. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, sorry. If it was a crab boil or a
There was
crawfish
no
broil,
boiling happening there, just so we
yeah,
know.
I didn't see it happen. I just like they prepped the tables as if it was gonna happen, and then it just didn't happen. But it's just like it was such a
Mm.
weird. We can get into it later, but it was just a weird, misplaced scene, in my opinion.
Okay, so I think there's consensus among the group that the episode itself, some mixed reception here. What didn't exactly stick the landing, but everything with Sam seems to have been the highlight for everyone. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. We are
Absolutely.
in agreement. Alrighty. So let's go through the plot and then we can stop and discuss as we move forward. The episode begins with Carly having the GRC on lockdown in Lower Manhattan. They are about to vote on global resettlement. Sam and Bucky converge on the building where Sharon joins them. Carly then gives an order, and the super soldiers from the boardroom to force the members to run. When Sam, now dressed in full Captain America garb, takes out two bad guys, Sam then realizes their mistake. Carly is trying to force everyone outside. What is a highlight here is, of course, Sam is in a brand new suit. What do we think of the suit, guys? Eric?
I think it's really good. It's very much it's written. It came right out the comics page. It looks exactly like it. Thought it was really nice. Just the motion of him flying and then just throwing the shield into the window. Uh, I even though it's very comics accurate, I don't like the headpiece. I really don't with like the weird neck thing. I think it'd been cooler if it would have been just the glasses, but still a really cool suit. And that thing must have booked it since it got from Louisiana to New York that fast. That thing has got some underneath the hood right there.
Do you guys know if the suit is 1-to-1 to the comics? I think it was, right? Like almost exactly the same.
I want to say I think so.
Who was that? Who just said that?
Yeah, the ghost.
Oh my
It
God,
was
Kevin
Tom Hardy.
Feige, thanks for coming, man. Really
It's
happy
actually
that you could
pronounced
join us
Feige.
today. That's why I said Kevin Feige.
Oh, some guy on
You're
the some guy on the other show said Feige, and I just want to let him know he's an idiot.
Delete that from your memory.
Okay. Continue. I'm
There's a
sorry.
new. No, that's fine. There's a new poster that came out as well. I think today of Captain America.
Yep.
Yeah,
Looking
they even
phenomenal.
changed the Captain America Twitter header to Sam now, which is nice.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It used to be a comics picture of Steve, the Avengers game version of Steve, and the MCU version of Steve, but now it's Sam. So
I
That's
think my only
beautiful.
complaint with the costume is I get the padding on the neck and everything because protection, but like leaving the whole top of your head open seems a little silly, um, especially when you are just human. And your head is the most vulnerable spot on your body to get hit by anything. But anyway, sorry. I just wanted to say that before we moved on.
That's a good point. Frank, what do you have any thoughts on the costume here?
So if it's one for one from the comics, that's great. I really love consistency like that, but I do have to say, man, this thing ugly.
What?
And I don't know how you would change it though. But here's the thing. I don't like it, and I don't know what like it is definitely the headpiece that I don't like, but I don't know if you change that to blue if it makes it any better.
Hmm.
And I think like I don't know what you do here to make it better. And that's the thing. Cause like okay, I will say the body part and the shoulders and everything in the arms, great. It looks good. It's just the neck and the head. It's all white. It's all white except for the goggles. And that is just I think you add another color in there and it may look better, but I still don't know. I don't know.
Maybe
It's just
maybe the
the
collar or something.
yeah, maybe the collar or I'm looking at the header photo of Cap and I think either the collar or even just like the little like there's the two parts on the collar, you make that and the trim on the headpiece, you make the trim blue. I think that does a little bit better, but that headpiece, man, is just bonkers.
I like that we're getting a bit more like flashiness, I guess, to these characters because normally they've been just like super drab and devoid of color, as we see with like
Fair.
U.S. Agent. We'll see, but thought it was fun. Moving on, it looks like Carly has her eyes not just on the GRC members. She keeps persuading Bucky that he is fighting for the wrong side. She asks, "Have you ever fought for something bigger than yourself?" To which Bucky says, "That's all I've ever tried to do, and I failed twice." The GRC board is rushed to a bulletproof police Humvee where a super soldier locks them in. "Seriously, Bucky, you had one job," Sharon exclaims as the board members are now hostages. I had to confirm whether or not they were actually hostages or not because like after I watched it, I was like, "Is this the police making sure like nobody gets into them?" But they are hostages.
So I thought
Um,
that was a bomb that they placed on the back of it, not a lock. I was just like, "Oh, so if they try to open it, it just goes kablooey." But no,
yeah.
it was just a super lock,
I
which
I
was
mean, if it
interesting.
felt weird, like I feel like they could have conveyed a bit easier for the viewers, like what's exactly going on, because it's a lot of cutting here, especially when they're fighting and like cutting down to the hostages. Wasn't super easy to follow until I watched it on a second viewing. I don't know how you guys felt.
Um,
Oh, go ahead, Frank.
no, I mean, I was just gonna say, yeah, they could have definitely done better. Like you knew that the guy wasn't security, you knew he was a bad guy, but putting the lock on there could have been conveyed a little bit better. Like they could have had a thing like where he was like in his earpiece and be like, "Put the locks on the back," and then it'd be like, "Cool." Well, other because I just thought it was a bomb straight up.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. While Sam is fighting off George St. Pierre in the boardroom, I think his name in the comics is like Bucco, the
Batroc.
French villain. There you go. Thank you. I'll keep calling him GSP, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Sharon kills off one with mercury vapor, and Bucky speeds off on a motorcycle to save the hostages. Bucky says, Sam takes Steve's shield, tells the super soldier goodbye, and breaks the window and takes a head first dive into the sky, only then to see his new vibranium wings spread to chase the helicopter with the other GRC hostages. What a cool scene when he breaks the window and just starts flying out. I wasn't loving all of the like combat so far, but like seeing that just felt right. It felt like Captain America.
Like that's where he's really gonna shine is, using the wings with his combat. Because I mean, Steve was, from what we watch, a better hand-to-hand fighter, but like that's what Steve was best at. Sam is gonna be best with, using the wings in combat. So that's what he's gonna be, much more vertical. Like that's what his threat is gonna be. He's gonna be much more vertical. He can get to really places really quickly, and yeah, he relies more on
Absolutely.
tech, which is
Yeah,
not bad. I'm not saying that's worse. I'm just saying that's what he's going to be good at.
absolutely. Tessa, any
Um,
thoughts here? Yeah.
so just one thing, pretty much right whenever I saw where Sharon was living in the very beginning, I called her little fate and who she was right then and there. You can ask
Yeah.
Eric. I was like, there's no way she isn't. Like it's just that's what it is. But yeah, the fact that she just killed some people with some mercury vapor and acted like it was no big deal. I'm like, yep, she's gone. She's done. She's not caring about any kind of morals or anything like that anymore. She literally just cares about herself. And that just completely solidified it for me. Um, I wish they would have had more development and maybe like revealed who she was a little sooner so you could see that like descent rather than just that full on, all right, here it is, boom, I'm bad. But anyway.
Well, I think everyone was talking about there was like heavily rewrites for the show. Uh, yeah, so that may have something to play. Like, who knows? There, it could have played out a whole
Oh,
lot differently with Sharon.
no, I get that. I just, if there were rewrites, like I feel like they knew where she was going at the very beginning. She was like at the very beginning, they were like, okay, she's going to be the power broker. And for them to do rewrites, I think they should have still honored that a little earlier. So you get more of a payoff at the end instead of like surprise. And we're like, yeah, we knew that. Cool. You know?
I think that's what they were banking on. Frank, you seem like you have some thoughts here as well.
Um, no, like she definitely when you first see her apartment and you see like all the precious art pieces there, and you're like, wait a second, she got a lot of money, but like she also is just like, do I want to go back to the US? I don't know. And then it's just like, wait a second, who is this person? Because like, yeah, we know generally her background, like a little, but we don't know who she's become. So the question is, now that we know who she is she going to be the villain in Captain America 4, or how are they going to use her character in the future? And I don't know if
Interesting.
that's like a question you have for later on down the show, but like that's what I keep thinking is like, where the hell are they going to pop her up later?
There is a space for theories down below, but I mean, it's always nice to have it introduced now because that's something I hadn't actually thought about before. So,
I think it's going to be the new version of Hydra.
Ooh.
Infiltrate the government, sell their secrets, and dismantle it.
what is the thing they're trying to do? Like the Thunderbolts, I think is what I've read online, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Eric can. We'll get to that in a little bit later. So we'll save that for there. Um, Carly intercepts the hostages in the police Humvee first. Bucky shows up, and Carly needs to distract him by giving him someone to save. So she lights the Humvee on fire. While Bucky does his thing, our good old friend John Walker shows up to avenge his old pal Battlestar, asking Carly why she thinks Lamar's life didn't matter. Walker's then beaten by the group pretty badly, and Bucky gets tossed off a bridge. Um, thoughts here. What do we think about not
I
Battlestar. John Walker showing up.
I think before talking to this, there was that one scene where Carly, correct me if I'm wrong here, is the scene where she's talking with the other flag smashers, like, all right, we've got to do this. We got to up the timetable. we gotta, we gotta kill them if they and they were like, whoa, we did not sign on for this kind of stuff. And then there's that scene where it's like she's going one world, and they're just
Just have
one
to pay
world,
attention.
one people. And so, and it's like I've said throughout this whole thing, you can't say that you're on the right side of things and you think you're doing good stuff when you, one, threaten kids like she did in the fourth episode. You don't just threaten someone's family and think you're on the right side of things. You don't just, all right, well, we're going to kill them. That's what we're going to do. You don't just, throw that out there if you think you're on the right side of things. And so I think that scene right there, specifically with the other flag smashers looking at her, is just like, yeah, Zemo was right. Carly is just gone. Like there was no her coming back from this if she's willing to go to these steps.
I
So
think,
question to you. Oh,
yeah.
go for it. Go for it. Go
No.
for it. You're the I was gonna
Okay.
say
Yeah.
you go, then I'll ask my question.
To Eric's point, I will agree. I think Carly was far gone, but I don't think she was past the point of being like redeemed. Um, so having Walker show up basically set up to be like a redeemable figure, and having Carly just like abandoned, I had some issues with, but that discussion we'll get into a bit more. So Frank, back to you.
So maybe this might be the and more later conversation. Do you think it was the serum that made her so far gone, or was it just like her getting caught up in the cause?
It
I,
was her. It amplifies what's already there. It was her.
Good point.
That's fair. I forget about that.
my
Yeah.
my wife makes an excellent point.
So would you
I
say then
mean,
Walker has more capabilities of good than Carly?
no, because he's driven by personal revenge. At that point, he's wanting her dead because of her killing Lamar. I mean, that's why he shows up. He says something about Lamar, and she instantly goes, "He didn't matter," and then that just really sets him off. And honestly, I think he would have taken it further than he did if there weren't more of them than him.
Mm,
So, I mean, super soldier or not, it's hard to beat, what, four other super soldiers at the same time that are all trying to take you down. So,
poor Walker just gets his ass kicked like left and right in this
I
show.
love to see it though.
He's the character that you love to hate. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think when we talked about last week, when we talked about Walker, especially with his trial and stuff, it's just you do really feel kind of empathetic for the guy because like last week he did everything that the government told him to do. That's all he was. Like everything that he learned from these people he's supposed to, fight for and believe in. And that really warped his mind. And it's like we talked about last week, that's the difference between Steve and John. Like Steve's upbringing and that time of history versus John Walker, you got World War II versus Afghanistan war, how that really changed the person. And then we have the moments here later that John has like little redeemable moments because I think there's still good in there for John. It's just it was warped.
Yeah. That's a very Captain America Sam thing to say of you, which I
Mhm.
appreciate. Moving on for the sake of time. Meanwhile, Sam saves the other GRC members in a helicopter by bouncing his shield off its door, popping it off, and the shield bouncing straight back so he can fly through and take out the super soldier behind the wheel. Red Hawk found one of the hostages on board who knows how to fly, and Sam times it up perfectly, having her take over the plane or the helicopter the second Sam takes out the driver, which is probably my favorite action set piece of this show right there.
What a fucking cool scene.
It was
Like,
very cool.
holy hell. And
I think,
and the fact that we're only gonna get more of this when we see Captain America because, as you said earlier, he's gonna be more vertical. So whether it be in a helicopter, in a plane, or just, an alien who can fly on itself, like we're gonna see more aerial combat and God, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
I think what made this scene so cool for me was the perspective wasn't on Sam. It was actually um, the woman, the hostage, who like gets the phone alert, and then you hear Sam's voice saying countdown, and then grab the wheel, and it was awesome. Absolutely right.
I think it just
Yeah,
shows
the
how capable Sam is.
Like
Yeah.
the little birdie that tells him, it's just like, "Oh, yeah, my high-tech gadget was just like, hey, you can fly. You're fine. You can do this.'"
Part of me
But
wants to know, though, how it would have progressed had there been no one able to fly the helicopter because he got very lucky with that. Like, the likelihood of that happening, I feel like, is pretty low, especially among politicians. Like,
Mm,
true.
politicians aren't really known for going to flying school, at least that I know of.
In the end
um,
of it, was she a politician or was she, like, a bodyguard? Because I know that a lot of, like, the people when they were evacuating, it was them, like, the politicians with a bodyguard, like, they were paired up.
I thought she was a politician because she was dressed in like the skirt suit and had like a very polished look about her,
That's
and
true. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
it was
right. You're right.
At least you know one of her hobbies is flying, I suppose.
yeah, but still, like, how lucky. But also, I would love
Yeah.
to have seen how that would have gone had that not been an option.
You would imagine maybe he'd have, or yeah, Sam would have everyone hold on to his wings, maybe. Just kind of glide down. Although I'm not very sure, Tessa.
Either that or time lining up, knocking them out of the helicopter, and like having to do like a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either that or I think the little red bird, like, the little, drone that he has, like, hacking into the system real quick and taking over.
Autopilot. I like it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So here we have Walker's actual redemption of the episode, or what we might consider his redeeming moment. He swallows his pride and stops fighting to rescue the people in the police Humvee, stopping the van from falling off the top of um, the street down below into the construction area. Of course, he can't fight off three more bad guys who are attacking him, and it starts to slip. And who comes in but Sam out of nowhere to stop it from crashing down a half dozen flight of stairs below. Several citizens take note that it isn't Falcon who saved them, but now Captain America in a very corny but well deserved moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was nice
absolutely.
to see like Bucky look up and smile too. That was nice.
I didn't
Yeah.
take it as a redemption for John, though. I took it as a what would make me look better in this moment. There
No.
was
I
no
have a lot of
personal
thoughts about
gain.
John.
There was just a I want to look as good as I can in this moment. There are eyes on me because he kind of maybe learned his lesson after beating someone's skull in with a Captain America shield in broad public, and that's when he got, dishonorably discharged, and he's no longer working for the government. And then suddenly he's presented with the same option of either chasing someone down, probably killing them, or saving these people to improve my image.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a
That's
lot
a
of thoughts about him that I wanna say at the end, but I'm on the same page as you.
Oh, for the end. Okay. You want us to
He's
keep going
he's
and then come back to this?
manipulative, I think, more than anything.
I'd
Yeah,
agree.
okay. I have thoughts on that as well, Tessa, that I think I agree with. But yeah, maybe we'll save it more because there is a moment where Walker returns. So we'll save it for there. We'll keep moving. Sharon is unveiled to be the power broker. Who could have ever guessed this? Not us, surely. Carly and Sharon exchange glances like they have met before, and Sharon asks Carly to come back and work for her. Sharon was the head of the movement as the power broker, and Carly was, in fact, a product of hers. Carly then broke off to create the Flag Smashers to fight the transplanted blips. And I'll keep reading just a little bit more and then we'll discuss. GSP shows up again, revealing that Sharon hired him to spy on Carly the entire time. But he has different plans as he then tells Sharon he needs 4 times what he paid him, or he will tell the world who the power broker really is. Sharon then turns and shoots GSP before Carly shoots Sharon. A lot going on here, but really, I think what this is showing is what's going on, Eric.
It's like just standoff. Just
I thought about that moment in The Office when they're all like standing off.
I thought about the Spider-Man gif.
Oh, that's even better.
You.
But I mean, it's really showing like the evil capabilities of Sharon that we've already seen like throughout the other episodes, but like more on display here. I don't know. What do you guys agree?
Yeah, it definitely shows her second face. in which it's just like, okay, I am the power broker. It's like, Carly, what the fuck are you doing? I wanted my serum back, but you disappointed me, and yada yada yada. It's like, okay, you're confirming it, but also just like, okay, how evil, how low can this woman stoop?
Hmm.
And once the guy asks for more money, it's like, okay, that's how low.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that the culmination of that is a perfect representation of how the MCU treated Sharon. She was always kind of thrown to the side. She was cast aside. She wasn't the priority ever. And what is that going to create other than something terrible? Like, oh, we don't care about you. Oh, hey, you were on the run. Hey, guess what? We got our pardon. Forget you. I don't really care. Like it she's constantly like thrown to the side. I mean, even with the whole temporary moment of like her and Steve. Oh, just kidding. I went back in time and hooked up with your aunt instead. Like, you're nothing. You know? It's
Yeah.
just like I mean, I would probably not really care at that point either. And I would look out for me because no one else was. Kind of what I'm getting at there. I mean, if no one's looking out for you, you're going to look out for yourself. And if no one else cares about you, you don't care about them. So, yeah.
Which is, I think, the way a lot of characters, or not characters, but I guess constituents of the MCU probably feel, especially the like displaced people who came back from the blip. I'm sure Sharon feels like very similarly. So yeah, it gives a lot of good reason why she is the way she is now, right? This antagonistic figure. I think you nailed it, Tessa. Moving on, Sam shows up just before Carly is about to kill Sharon. Carly thought Sam was different, but Sam tells Carly she is misguided. Sam puts down his weapons while Carly raises hers. Very symbolic gesture. And Sharon, bleeding from her stomach wound, kills Carly with a shot to the chest, and she dives in Sam's arms.
so
I
this is
almo-
why this is
Mhm.
why I don't think that John Walker has any redeemable factors is because Carly dies. Like, yeah, he goes and saves the truck, however, the person he wants dead still dies. Now, if she lives and, like, they continue that timeline of, like, her crew and everything else, like, later on down the line in the MCU, that is one thing, but, like, having her straight up die kills any and all sort of redeemable factors for John Walker because it's like, okay, John knows he's dead, she's dead. He has his revenge, so-called revenge because the person that killed his friend is dead.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, now what can I do with these superpowers that are in it for me? And the fact that he continues to, well, this is a later scene, but like the fact that he continues to talk to, was it Tess? Uh, like just shows that he doesn't care. He's just in it for himself.
Are you talking about
So
Madam Hydra or whoever?
yeah,
Yeah, Julie Louis Dreyfus's
Thought it was
character.
Val.
Val. There you go. There you
I was
go.
like, I feel
Thank
like I
you.
would remember if someone was named Tess.
Sorry. Yes, you're right. Her name. Damn it. Yes, her name was Val. I feel like if he had not met with her again, then there would be some sort of redemption. But like the fact that he's still meeting with her and the person he wanted dead is dead, it's a win-win situation for him, but like a lose-lose for the audience.
Yeah, and I think to your point, when like Walker like gets his new suit, his first word is like, or one of his first words is like, "I'm back." It's a very
Yeah,
self-centered. Yeah, you're right.
I
Um,
think but in that moment though, he could have, if he was looking at stuff for himself, he could have gone after Carly, who is on everyone's watch list. Like, look, I went to go take down Carly, I did it. But in that moment he decided to save the people's lives. So even in that scenario, he chose the right thing to do at the time, I think. Uh
true, but he could also be thinking in the back of his head, okay, it's not only me, but Captain or like Falcon in his mind. Falcon's here, Winter Soldier's somewhere, the police are everywhere. Somebody's gonna find her. That would be
that's
going on in my mindset.
I think it's
Mm.
interesting. That's why I think, like, I'm happy that John Walker's going to stick around. I think his character has been pretty interesting, and I look forward to seeing it continue to grow.
What was his nickname for that I had in episode 2? Was it Fuckface McGee? There you go.
yes,
Mm.
yep.
Yep.
My only
Fuckface
disappointment
McGee's
he
sticking around.
my only disappointment here is that in classic MCU fashion, the villain dies at the end, which was a shame for me because this like Carly I thought was like one of the best antagonists we've seen in the MCU. Like I would akin her to almost Michael B. Jordan's character in Black Panther, and that like essentially her ideals, even though the way she goes about them are wrong, her ideals come from a good place.
Mhm.
Um, and like she changes the mind of the protagonist. So having her die for me was like disappointing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's all I'll say. The conflict now resolved. Sam appeals to the GRC and its members by making a moving speech in true Captain America fashion. The blips are not terrorists, that the actions of the GRC are so fundamentally world changing for displaced communities, they are akin to the actions of Thanos, and that the GRC needs serious reform. His speech moves everyone to make the right call. And I have a few quotes here for us because I think this is where like the episode truly shines. This is my favorite scene. You have to stop calling them terrorists. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? I'm still here. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes. The only power I have is that we can do better. But the question is, who's in the room when you're making these big decisions? How are you going to use your power? There is a lot to unpack here, and we can take it anywhere. Eric, do you want to start us off with any thoughts you had here?
That was very. I mean, it was Captain America because it was Captain America speaking. So, I thought it was really good. I liked it that all most of the characters in the show were watching it on TV. Like Isaiah's reaction to watching it, I thought was very nice. Sarah watching it was very nice. It was a very good speech. It very much was like a tone setter for Sam, more like how Steve got his tone setting, like with his first movie. It's like, hey, this is the kind of person he is, and like we've known what Sam is, but like this is his first time as Captain America. Everyone's looking at him, and he makes this very, very nice speech, um, and I thought it was brilliant for him. I thought it was a lot of well said stuff. I think the best thing he did, we're going to talk about later. Um, but yeah, he fantastic speech. He did a really great job, and it was very uplifting, like a Captain America speech should be.
Yeah,
I think what I love so much about it is the fact that it's also so relevant to real life situations. It's very applicable to the political climate that's happening today. It's such a nice way for Marvel to kind of not so subtly call out what's happening, in a world where we have racial issues, LGBTQ issues, and who's making the policies regarding that? Typically middle-aged plus white people who don't really care about anyone else but themselves, it seems. So it was just a really nice way to reference that. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
Frank?
like we were on episode 2 and we were saying how like I think it was before they meet with Isaiah for the first time there was that scene of just like, "Oh, you're the Black Falcon. What do I call you, Black Kid?" It's just like how that was, or no, sorry, it was after they meet Isaiah with the cop scene and how kind of disingenuous and how kind of weird that was to put it in there. This is the complete opposite. This is how you do it well, and they did it well here. Other than I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes. I think Sam would have said everything else like that he said because like that is Captain America talking, and I feel like that no matter what Captain America you put in there, they would be for those standards, they would be for those morals and say the same exact things. So I thought it was a good speech and they set the tone correct in that scene.
I also enjoy how I'm sorry, how he references the conversation with Isaiah to be like, I know and understand that this is how you feel, but this is why you're wrong. I can do this. And
Yeah.
that,
And
Yeah,
that,
I
like,
think this.
little cut to Sam or sorry, Isaiah too was fantastic. Just,
yeah.
Yeah,
like, he was like, "Ah, he is different. He is like, I understand why he's doing this." Like, It was good.
Yeah, the second he said like the no blonde hair, no blue eyes, and it's shown Isaiah, and he's just like, okay, all right, you're right.
I think this was the moment too when he says that he's standing here and he can feel the hate even now. Like I feel it. And you guys are right. Like this is a moment where the writers, where Sam is essentially holding a mirror up to like the government bodies of this world, and really it's like the showrunners holding a mirror up to our own world and calling them out for their BS. Um, and in comics, it's a perfect world, right? Or at least close to a perfect world. So these like will probably lead to some like fundamental changes in the GRC, which is something we hope that we take away in our own lives. And I found it to be a very beautiful scene. And then
I'm curious,
we get another beautiful scene after.
and I'm very curious as to who actually wrote the speech. Like, really curious as to who wrote it because it was really well thought out and really well like punctuated. I guess would be the best accuracy or best thing I could say about it. But yeah, curious on that one.
Eric, or do you guys know? I think the same writers of the show, I think, as well, are also working on Captain
I'm
America
looking it up.
4.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. So Malcolm Spellman co-wrote this episode with uh Joseph Sawyer. It's the first time they wrote an episode um this season. Malcolm wrote the first episode and he co-wrote this one.
And he's co-writing Captain America 4, so we'll probably see the same undertones carried
Yeah.
onto the next film, which is very exciting.
Mhm.
Getting close to wrapping up here. Sam and Bucky catch the rest of the Flag Smashers as they try to escape by using uh, their app. Sorry, I don't think it was Sam and Bucky. It was Bucky and Walker. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, by using their own app, which was funny. Sharon is still wounded and leaves with Bucky without anyone knowing her true identity. The Flag Smashers are then transported by a police caravan, only to then be blown up by presumably the hands of Zemo, as we get a cut to him in the raft.
Yeah, it was
Um,
his butler.
what was that?
It was his butler. That was the old man in the vehicle that did it.
Oh my God,
The
you're right.
butler. Yeah, it was Zemo.
I didn't know it was the butler. The butler did it.
Mhm.
The butler did it.
I just watched a
Cons-
different show that could sum up the exact same thing for that show too, in which the butler did it.
the butler
But
did it.
anywho, that's a different conversation.
Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, aka Julia Louise Dreyfus. Let's get Larry David in the MCU, please. Rebrands John Walker with a new look. The blue on his outfit is now black with the new name U.S. Agent. And I know we have some thoughts here on Walker. Um, this is where we talk about it, folks.
I kind of gave it when we were talking about how Carly died. Like he doesn't have any redeemable factors about him. His character is still fuckface McGee through and through. Because you're avenged your friend, and it's like okay, I understand. Like you kind of get like you're dishonorably discharged. You're getting no pension. You're not getting any benefits or whatever. Like so, you got to find a new job. But you're gonna take this shady ass mercenary job from this politician you know nothing about and just it's like, dude, you just through and through are just a shit human being. And like I understand like he is it after this that he meets with the family of his friend or was that beforehand?
That was in the last episode.
Episode
Oh, then
5.
never mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking okay, sorry. I was thinking I watched 4, 5, and 6 all at once, so I'm kind of blending them a little bit together. I thought he did it and anyways. Uh yeah, I just he's I wish if Carly were to have died, I wish he would have died as well. Somehow write that in because like his character just I don't like him at all, and I think that's a testament to like the actor who portrays him. Um So good job for him, but like goddamn, yeah,
He's
that's
got to be he's going to be set up somehow, right? How we feeling here? Eric?
I I think it's great. I think it's definitely going to be part of the Thunderbolts. I think that he can definitely be like their charismatic leader. Either them or Zemo. I think it's really cool. Like I think it's really exciting. Like I'm ready to see what Walker does without the pressures of like the U.S. government or anything. just know they have a super soldier now. So that's gonna be really fun. I'm excited.
You're right. He is a super soldier. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, and that's the other thing. The fact that like and him and New Cap and Bucky all walk out away at the same exact time in that last scene whenever after Captain gives his speech, like all three of them walk away in one group. It's like, wait, 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 wait. What? Why? How? What? So I don't understand how he got away from that situation without catching any sort of flack. The fact that the government's like, "Give us your shield," and then he makes a new one, and it's just like, "Okay, here it is," but just like
This is
there's
this
so
is why I
many.
think
He
he's like. Sorry, Tessa. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. I just didn't want us to move on without me just throwing this out there. Um, I don't hate him. I think he's going to serve a purpose. And I know this sounds a little strange, but the way his personality is and kind of the way they're shaping him up, he kind of gives me the same kind of vibes as like the Punisher. Like you don't want to root for him, but you kind of see where he's coming from. It's also
Interesting.
similar backgrounds. You have war combat, PTSD. You're dealing with all of this stuff. Not to mention he just lost his closest friend. He Main difference I think is he is going to have a leash. He's gonna have someone else calling the shots. I don't think he's always going to listen, but yeah, I think he has sort of a Punisher vibe. He's not a villain, but he's not a hero either. He's gonna
He's
kind of exist in that gray area.
I feel
Yeah, I
like
think
if anything,
he's.
oh, I was gonna say Loki without the smarts.
Hmm. No, absolutely.
See, I wouldn't discredit him on being stupid. I don't think he's stupid.
I don't think he's dumb, but I think he is very susceptible to manipulation, which Julia
Yeah,
Louise Dreyfus seems like she can absolutely control. So,
yeah.
Do
Which is
do
where
do
that
do.
leash will come from. So
for the sake of time here, we're gonna move on, which I think was the moment that Tessa was referencing earlier. That wasn't like we needed more time here, and I agree. Bucky returns to make real amends with Yori Nakajima, telling him that the Winter Soldier killed his son, RJ. Now completed, Bucky leaves a copy of his book that lists the people he wronged as his alter ego at his psychiatrist's office, Dr. Rayner, with a note that reads, "Thanks for everything, Doc." How did we feel about the way Bucky's story
I
wrapped up?
despised it. It's the reason this is my least favorite episode. You can't build up this big, huge emotional payoff and not deliver on it. For getting closure, they don't show any closure. It literally just says, "Hey, I'm the Winter Soldier. I killed your kid. Why? I didn't have a choice." And cut to him and the watching Yuri through the glass and like you don't even know how that relationship ended. Did
Mhm.
Yuri eventually understand? Did Bucky actually explain what the Winter Soldier was and how he didn't have a choice? Or was it just that and then Yuri was like, "Get the hell out." Like, and not only that, but the book with the whole thanks for everything, Doc. Like, you didn't really see her helping him very much for him saying thanks for everything, and that's it. Eric pointed it out. He might actually want to talk about this, but he mentions in one episode how he can't deal with the quiet, and then you literally never see him deal with the quiet because it's just continuous action, and that never gets addressed. I
It was kind
just
of abandoned after episode 2, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't well done. And that's kind of what I meant by for having two characters in the title, you really only focus on one after like the first few episodes, which is kind of disappointing
Mhm.
because I feel like a lot of people are emotionally invested in Bucky at this point because of Winter Soldier and because of Civil War. He's already an established character, and even the first Avenger, you see him happy and normal, and you want to see that journey and you want to see it resolved, and you don't get it. It just flashes to him being happy at a barbecue boil situation.
And the fact that he doesn't even get a name change either says a lot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric,
Um,
anything? Sorry, Frank, go ahead. Yeah.
oh no, I was gonna say I just had one question because I have pretty much the same sentiment. When he looks at the window and looks at Yuri having drinks inside and whatnot, and they make eye contact, was it not the man that he just confessed to sitting next to her? Because it looked like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Okay, then never mind. Okay, that's I thought it was a I don't know if it was the same man or a different man, but I was just like, "Hmm, I wonder if he's recanting the tale to her or not," but
I read it
I
as
don't
like some kind of time skip. Like, I don't know, it's like the next week or something, next few days.
I was thinking the next night, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it isn't clear says a lot.
What were you
Eric,
gonna
any
say?
What?
I was saying,
What?
what were you gonna say, Eric? The same time Christian was like, Eric, what are you
Oh,
gonna
oh,
say?
gotcha. I definitely agree with you. Bucky was definitely just like cast aside, very much so. Like this show was about Sam becoming Captain America. Like that was the point of this whole show, and that's great. Like it needed to happen. Like that's fantastic. But Bucky was just there, like, all right, I'm here to help you stop these guys. Okay, hey, I'm not the Winter Soldier anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. All right, let me have my chat with somebody I killed. All right. No real growth for Bucky. Like it would have been great. You know, the best part of Bucky's growth was when Zemo tries to say the words to him and it doesn't work. Like that was the probably the best part of Bucky in this whole show. And the when he in Wakanda, Bucky's Wakanda scene was probably also the best part of Bucky in the show. But other than that, Bucky was just there just to, all right, what do you need me to do? All right, I'm right there. Okay. And just like how Bucky is just like when Sam's giving a speech, Bucky's just way far away. And you're right, Christian. They don't even change Bucky's name. Like, and it's just he's still the Winter Soldier, and it's like you. This man has probably been through the most in all of the MCU, and he's just was cast aside just like that. Um, it sucks. It really does. Just call the show Falcon or whatever. Like, don't bring in the Winter Soldier in this if you're not really going to show Bucky grow. Other than, hey, those words don't work on me anymore. But
Yeah.
and so I think, yeah, that's like Tessa. This is my least favorite episode. Like for that reason, like Bucky deserved a lot better than that.
I agree.
I
On the other
remember.
hand, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I remember us watching it, and whenever he like knocked on Yuri's door, we were both like, "Oh no!" And then I was just like, "Oh, that was okay. That was okay. All
That was
right."
it.
90 seconds, and then that's it. On the other hand, though, we have Sam visiting Isaiah Bradley, played by Carl Lumbly, in Baltimore. The two converse in the garden about what it means to be a black Captain America. Sam then takes Isaiah on a trip for a surprise. They visit the memorial that Sam visited in the first episode. There is now a statue in Isaiah's honor, finally bringing to light Isaiah's previously erased history. The two then embrace with quote, "I might fail, I might die. I'm not going to let anybody tell me I can't fight for this country. Not after what everybody before me went through, including you." One of the most touching scenes I thought of the episode. And again, I agree with you guys. This show is all about Sam, him coming to terms with being the new Captain America, and this, along with the moment with the news cameras, like really reinforced that for me. What do you guys think?
I was telling Tessa as we were watching it when I said, "Hey, I got somewhere to bring you," and you see, as soon as I saw the museum, I told Tessa, "I'm like, this is gonna be like the Vincent Van Gogh episode from Doctor Who, when he brings Vincent Van Gogh into the present." And I'm just like, exactly, that's what happened. Like he brings him, like, "Hey, look, no one's gonna forget you now. Like everyone's gonna remember what you did." Because like even though in the last episode he says like leave me buried and stuff like that, it's like no, I'm not going to. Like people need to know what you did. Like
Mhm.
that they will be better for it. Everyone will be better for knowing what you did for everyone. So I thought it was a very, very, very nice moment.
I loved it, but I was also a bit confused because this was a story that was kept secret by government. All documents of it were destroyed. There was no living proof aside from Isaiah himself, who was adamant about not coming forward. So, as much as I love the scene, the back of my brain, I was like, huh, how did they get all of this in a museum? And I know that's really shitty of me to bring up, but I loved the scene. I thought it was very well done, but like that one thought in the back of my head was just there the entire time.
My answer to you, Tessa, is that it's Marvel, and Sam always has the answer with "Let me make a phone call." So I'm
Yeah,
assuming he made a phone call.
yeah, he couldn't make a phone call to get a bank loan. I mean,
Frank, almost forgot to. We don't know what happens to the bank loan.
He
I
didn't
no,
needed to
need
know.
to
nothing
because
happens with the
everyone
bank loan.
came
He doesn't get a
together.
bank loan.
Yeah.
He gets the community together to help him with the boat. Like nothing happens with the bank loan. He just gets denied. Like he can make a call to get a freaking golden statue of Isaiah erected in like no time flat, and then all of a sudden it's just like, hey, I need like about tree fitty to get my boat fixed, and they're like, no. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I'll deal with it. It's just
yeah,
I don't know. That part is weird to me, but like I love this scene. I love that they go through like, hey, I know you told me that a black man as being like Captain America is shameful or whatever to our culture and what, this country has done to us. And and then just them talking through it and being like, okay, listen, you are special, you are different from, you're different, but you're not a Malcolm X different, you're not Martin
mhm,
Luther King different, and they have a good chuckle about that. Like, I think that was really funny, but like I love the scene that they talk about it, and it's like, hey, I know we talked about this in the past and you didn't agree with it. However, this is how I view it. This is why I chose to do it. And I think that that kind of closure to that is really good. And then just the icing on the cake is like, hey, by the way, they will know that what you did in the past and all the hardships you went through, and it won't be repeated. But the only downside to that scene is I really wish you got to see what they put on the placard and
yeah,
what it said about him, because like you don't know what story they put on there for him. And I mean, kind of rounding this out for me, just like I was way off as to how I thought this series would end, unfortunately, because I think in episode 2, I thought that they were gonna, Isaiah was gonna come in, kick John Walker's ass, and then be like, "Here you go, King, you dropped your shield," and then just like live happily ever after. But
You drop this king.
yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
god.
But I think they ended it very well. Like I wish they had ended it at this scene, like
Yeah,
they kind of embrace, like, "Thank you," and then, like, call it, and then do, like, maybe do the barbecue as, like, a what's it called? Credit scene, and then
mm,
have the final scene that we have.
yeah.
Yep.
I think I agree. That would be a lot stronger of an ending. I do want to just note that like this country has a lot of erasure as long as it's just it's history. It's extremely whitewashed. Countless texts and narratives that are out there are just aren't talked about or I don't know taught. So to have this moment, I would have to assume it means a lot for not just Isaiah, but like several communities
Oh,
own histories have been
absolutely.
erased. Yeah. And I shared a video with the gang before we started the podcast, which is even like what it means to play a Black Captain America, and it was an interview with Anthony Mackie talking about what that meant and with his son, and the way like they unpack that over time and the way that unfolds is very beautiful, and I encourage you guys to check that out. It's from Vanity Fair. Closing us out here, we have one final paragraph. In a final sequence, again, the heroes host a cookout on the docks of Sam's Louisiana home. This concludes the tale of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And then in a post-credit scene, Sharon Carter gets her citizenship back. She will be repaid some of the debt paid to her and her family. She's given a full pardon and a role in her old department. The power broker is about to have access to the entire U.S. intelligence community's gift basket. She will sell government secrets, prototypes, weapons to the highest bidder. Any final thoughts as we close out here?
I
Well,
love two things about that. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm gonna interrupt.
go ahead, dear.
So as much as I disliked the sudden jarring shift towards a Louisiana get together, I did quite enjoy that scene because it just so perfectly captures the spirit of people who are from Louisiana. Like it's just like everyone knows everyone. If you're friends, your family, like you're treated as such. everyone come, we have food for everyone. Like, but I also really, as much as I hated the journey it took there, it was really nice to see Bucky happy again.
Hmm.
It was very nice. And also the post credit scene is the reason why I said what I said earlier about how I think she's going to be kind of like a formation of almost a new Hydra. Not necessarily go by Hydra, I don't think that, but like the same kind of concept. Because Hydra infiltrated the US government. They were stealing things, you know what I mean? They were causing problems. They were manipulating. They were shaping things how they wanted it to be. I see that kind of happening all over again fresh.
I
Right.
think her character more so is going to be a more involved collector. Like she's going to be the collector. Like the collector was like a universe, like encompassing person, while she's going to be more so like the world, like the earth, like bound type of character. I don't like she'll be a good villain wherever she ends up, like whatever they end up putting her in, whether it is fuck, what were you guys saying that John Walker would be the leader of the
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts?
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether she becomes a part of the Thunderbolts or she becomes the backer of the Thunderbolts, I think she'll be more of like a hands off, a little more involved than the collector was, but like a collector type character, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys find her? I don't find her very compelling. Is my only issue.
I really did not like this post credit thing. I thought it was super dumb.
Yep.
I'm
It
glad
was
you
it
said
was
it.
it was really dumb. I hope the Countess stuff. I hope they're a third party. I hope they're not affiliated with Power Broker stuff at all. I think that'd be really interesting to have three different things going on. You got, you know, Shield, Sam, all them, and then you got Power Broker stuff, and then you also have to deal with this Thunderbolts problem. Like I think that'd be interesting than just, oh, guess what? The Power Broker and all them, they're dealing with the Thunderbolts. Oh, cool. But I hope that they stick around for a while. But yeah, I just really hated like this is our post credit scene. Oh, Sharon's back. Cool.
Yeah, Sharon. Oh boy, oh
Yeah, I
gee.
know. But I think Christian, you actually had a
Yes,
wonderful tweet
ma'am.
about this episode where it's pretty typical Marvel finale stuff. There are 10 minutes of good TV in here, but this was this I did not like this episode was I think it deserves I don't think it deserves anything, but I think the Rotten Tomato score, not that you should use Rotten Tomatoes for anything, internet.
Right.
Not an action it's not a just because it has like a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes doesn't mean it's good, and just because it has a 45 doesn't mean it's bad.
Exactly.
But I think that yeah, this is a super weak one. Like I much prefer there was no Vishon in this one. So I
Bring
gotta
back
bring him up again.
Sean.
Yeah, there was like I think WandaVision definitely had a stronger finale, and I wish this finale was better, but we don't know with how they had to cut out a bunch of stuff what could be, but this is what we got. So
I feel
I
bad because I like the post credit scene. I'm curious to see what they use Sharon for and what she does.
to
The
Tessa's
placement of
credit,
it
it's
was very strange, but I
yeah.
I want to know what she's doing. Like I want to know what kind of chaos she's going to cause. Because if you think about it, didn't her old position also give her access to Shield?
mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, she can do some damage really fast if she wants to.
To Tessa's credit, it'll be interesting to see like the emotional like betrayal that Bucky and Sam will feel when they
Mhm.
discover that eventually she is the power broker. I think that'll be good. And then I want to say that was a very reactionary tweet that I put out. Like when I thought about it over the weekend, like in all fairness, like the show's thesis was about Sam, and in hindsight, like this episode when it focused on Sam was actually very good, and I thought it succeeded. But yeah,
I will say the
any
first 2 episodes was very 50-50, like Sam and, Bucky, but
yeah,
it gradually became the Sam show, which was like, it's fine, just rename the show. Call a spade
sure.
a spade.
Any final thoughts, guys, before we close out the show?
Uh This was still a great show. I know we'll discuss it, the series thing. I think this was still a fantastic show. Marvel has shown that these Marvel Studios TV shows are just as good as the movies. It can be just as good as the movies, I should say. And I'm really excited. This is definitely it's gonna be exciting, week to week with MCU stuff, where we don't have to wait months in between for new MCU content. We just gotta wait till next Friday. It's great. I love the TV shows. If Loki is really good, I may say just make them TV shows. Make all of them TV shows. I'll be about that. But anyway, yeah, very very good show. Very very good show.
Thank you, Eric. Tessa, how about yourself? Any closing thoughts?
I mean, not quite. Kind of going off of what Eric said. As much as I do love the TV shows, I'm ready to have like a film again too. Like I'm ready for the next Thor film to come out. I think that's going to be really exciting. But I do think the TV medium works well, especially whenever you're looking at these characters that have kind of a more psychological profile to examine and break down and explore. And you can do that from episode to episode rather than try and shove it all into a film.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Before we move on to you, Frank, I will say I am very excited for this November when we get the Eternals directed by Oscar-winning director Chloe Zhao. Let's go, baby. Frank, closing thoughts on the show.
The show was fine. It was like the production value is like obviously above and beyond okay, sorry, above and beyond a majority of TV that you'll see or any other streaming service will provide. I think with the exception of maybe HBO.
Mm.
It I wish the story were stronger. The story just wasn't that strong because it did kind of like it did end up being the Sam show, which from like because I was only on episode 2 with you guys, like I'll keep referencing like episode 2. Really had that like buddy cop feeling, and we were so excited for the buddy cop show, and it just ended up being the Sam show, and it's just like if that was the case, then you may as well have focused on Sam and calling it the future, like something like Future Captain, something like
Mm.
that. I don't know. Just like I enjoyed what I watched, but I feel like they could have gone about it a completely different way, and I am curious as to what they cut out.
Yeah, very fair. Thank you guys for joining me on episode 6 of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Before we leave, we're gonna get some plugs in for you. If you've enjoyed me as your host, you can follow me at ISO Christian for all random thoughts about movies, TV shows, and Twitch streams. Eric, plugs for you, sir.
Yeah. Hey everyone. Eric C. Ginn on Twitter. Just starting to get basketball playoffs soon. Very excited about that. Sports world is heating up. I'm excited. So next Monday, ESPN is doing a Marvel themed production of the Golden State Warriors versus New Orleans Pelicans, and I think I need to get my live TV back so I can watch it. It's gonna be wild. I hope it's just as crazy as the Saints Bears on Nickelodeon. Like that one was great. So I'm gonna tune in just for this one because the great thing is one of the players, Zion Williamson, like his favorite character is Thanos, and so like I hope it's gonna be so great. So I'm gonna try to watch it, but that's about it. Marvel's great. Get vaccinated, please.
Absolutely.
Already done.
Congrats. I'm still waiting. Tessa, how about yourself?
You can find me on Twitter. It's smash_bro, and because I'm from Louisiana, it's spelled a very Cajun way, which is BREAUX. But other than that, yeah, I'm starting to get a little more Twitter literate. It'll be a fun time, hopefully.
Please go follow Tessa. And Frank, last but not least.
I'm just a guy. I like talking about anime. Baka and Co podcast. We do a show twice or once every 2 weeks, and then me and a co-host, Silver Lobo, we started our own weekly podcast in which we talk about what's currently airing and what we're watching and everything. So that just started last week and will be put up every Wednesday evening. So go check it out. Baka and Co podcast on your favorite podcast services.
Well, thanks, guys. This has been a fun episode. We hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, Excelsior.